Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Today it's finally time to re-enter Denon land and get my DR-F8 working. Finally. It's only been like 3 months since I actually intended to originally get this going, but whatever, better late than never. Now, before we get started on this, I want to caution you that full transport service may not be entirely possible yet. Reason being, I don't know what kind of an idler this deck takes. I was not able to find the idler dimensions anywhere, so maybe I've got something that'll work, maybe I don't. We'll just have to find out and see as we go along here. But before we get into this real quick, I just wanted to give you a quick update on the Christmas Nakamichi. I don't know if you guys saw my short video or not, but it is here, and it's extremely rough. I felt sorry for it, and, well, you guys might want to check this out. I've promised a couple of people that I would show on camera what that deck looks like as it looks cleaned up, and it has been cleaned up now. And there it is. There is the Christmas Knack all cleaned up. Well, sort of cleaned up. It's got to go through another round of simple green treatment in order to get all the dirt and grime off of it. I don't know what happened to it. It has to be a tsunami deck for sure from Japan. Now, this might be the only time I show this deck on camera between now and Christmas, so I will just update you on a little bit of what is going on with that deck. Inside, if you can believe this, it's immaculate. There's no grunge or grime or rust or anything on the inside. With that said, the heads are terrible on that deck. The playback head is completely open, both channels, requires a parts deck to fix it, so I have a parts deck incoming now. That's another big announcement I should make on this video today is the 482 that's going to be supplying parts for that thing. Probably all 3 heads as well, maybe even the entire transport. I don't know, we'll see what happens when that deck gets here. Counter needs replacement as well. As you can see, all the lettering has come off that one, so I'll be replacing that too. And the other exciting news is I have another 3-head neck coming now. I bought 2 within the scope of 1 week. One was the 482, and the second is a ZX5, which is their domestic version of the BX300. So the idea behind that one is to flip it for profit. That's basically all there is to it. I can't wait to see what this one can do. This is officially the replacement for my DR-M3, which is probably going to be up for sale now on eBay or some such, but haven't really thought about that much yet. Now, you might remember in the last video this was on camera on. I think it was one of my multi-diagnosis videos. One of the main issues I found when I fired this up was it wasn't quartz locking. The light wasn't coming on, or it was coming on and then going off right away. So let's address that issue first. You see, Denon has provided an adjustment for that circuit. And I'm hoping that's all it is. If that's all it is, it's going to be easy to fix. So let's give it some power here. I will try to get you in on the quartz lock LED here. Or rather the LED plus the where the adjustment for that is. Let's see, can you see? I think you can. Let me just tuck some wires out of the way and shut one of these lights off. We want you to be able to see the light come on. And I can't do that if both of these overhead lights are on. So let's fire it up now and see what happens. Watch this light over here. If the quartz lock is working, that should stay lit. You see, it went off again right away. Now the adjustment for that is down in here. I think there's a certain frequency they want this set at, and when it's at that frequency, that thing lights up and stays lit. So let's try tweaking on that to see if that fixes it. Oh, look, there we go, right away. power off again and back on. Yeah, that's all it was, is the PLL circuit was out of adjustment. We'll have to check this again once the transport is serviced and up and running, just to make sure it stays lit up and when the deck is in play mode and such. Today is Monday. I think what I'm going to do today is just simply remove the transport for going to work on it on Wednesday or Thursday. Reason being, I think the last of my damping greases is down at the post office right now, and I really need this deck to help me figure out whether or not to which type of damping grease I'm going to be using. I've got 3 different kinds, and I need to figure this out in order to service other customers' decks. Reason I need those damping greases is because even though white lithium grease like the Molykote EM30L is fine for the decks I use, where I may be recording a vaporwave tape or 2 on one of these decks and then sticking it back on the shelf, that's not going to cut it for customer decks. My reason for saying that is some of these decks that I'm expecting to service might be from recording studios or other high usage environments where you wouldn't want to use white lithium grease on metal-to-metal parts like I have been. Because then the metal parts get worn down, and the proper damping grease lets me avoid that. And I've also got this stuff now to hopefully replicate or replace Lubriplate 3000, like Peter at ASB Custom uses. I can't get that stuff here. I don't know why it's so hard to get grease in Canada, but it is. Anyway, I will flip the lights back on and we will extract the transport. And the other thing I'm planning to do is come back tomorrow and probably rework the power supply board here. You may remember that the DR-M3 was absolutely riddled with bad solder joints, and I want to make sure that's dealt with first. And I also want to do a recap of the power supply while I'm at it. And then that's probably as far as I'll go with the capacitors, unless something over here needs it too, but whatever. Now, in order to get this transport out, we have to take the front panel off, and that's another thing I can do tomorrow, is start working on that, because it still needs a little bit of cleaning up. This deck is filthy. So we have pulled the door off and lost my screwdrivers. But yes, the 680ZX needs a lot of help. It needs less help than I thought it would, believe it or not, but it still needs a lot of help. I'm probably into that deck for about $900 by now, if you count the parts donor that's coming in. And I hope to God that's the only parts donor it needs. Because if I have to buy too many more parts decks for that, that deck is very quickly going to get into a not worth it category. But I just thought I'd mention that in case I need you guys' help to find another playback head for that thing, because probably not going to want to try to find another parts deck for it at all, really. Oh, these things are so hard to pull off sometimes. I might have to use the front panel to help me with that last little bit there. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws on this side, and then the front cover's off. Okay, I'll just use the front panel to hopefully help me push the that last control off. I don't know if it's going to be the easiest thing in the world to do, but there we go. We're good. Okay, we've got some connectors here for the front panel. We've got one 8-pin connector over here, which connects 2 wires, or 2 different ribbon cables, like so. And then we've got one here, 3 pins, way down here in this corner of the board. And it looks like that's all I need to do in order to get the front panel off. Maybe. Maybe not. Yes, we've got wires that cannot be removed because they're all soldered in. Why would you do that, Denon? Okay, and we've got more connectors that we have to, or more wires to disconnect here. So, let's see here. It looks like this entire circuit board kind of swivels up that way. So let's try to do that. And we have to disconnect this rod thingamajigger here. This inanimate plastic rod. So I will just kind of set it aside that way. And I've got another screw to dismount way over here. Let's see, can I show that to you at all? My screwdriver's on it right now. It's locking down the hinge of the board. I don't think there's another one on the other side. And yes, up comes the board, and it locks itself in place. I love that. That is a good thing. Okay, this wire is wire wrapped. Of course it is. Wouldn't want to make things easier for the tech, would we? So, how am I going to deal with this? Well, I've got another ribbon cable to deal with over here. It runs to the front panel. It's this one right here plus the yellow wire. Are these on connectors? I don't know that they are, actually. I see one of these green Hitachi relays over here. I always worry about those going dirty and not being able to do anything with them. I don't even know what you would use to replace those kinds of relays with. Okay, what the hell, Denon? You'll give me connectors for these wires over here, but none of the others? Ridiculous. Well, these three wires here are for the tape monitor LEDs. Maybe if I kill the glue bond over here, they've got this on a clip plus one of these washers here. That kind of a dealie there. So I think I'm going to try to disconnect that from the front panel. Just using a pair of tweezers to pry on it. Hoping I don't ruin the tweezers or the little plastic doohickey that's attaching this. There we go, I got it. And I didn't break it. So now I can remove this little circuit board. Like so. There we go. Now that's out of the way. And yet I still have these other wires. And there's an orange one too. These things are all soldered in. It's ridiculous. But at least now I can get down in here with a screwdriver and dismount these circuit boards so I don't damage them. And I'm having trouble getting a good angle on this with my my new gimbal, but I will try my best. I need to do this so I can do a really good job cleaning the face. Oh, and of course that other one has to be a ground wire that's soldered in. Denon, why? Why would you do this? Let me extract these ribbon cables first. On with the soldering iron. And I'll just desolder this and pull the whole face off. Because I really do want to clean this. Okay, front panel has been fully liberated from the machine. And now I can clean it real good. Okay, continuing on. How does yonder transport mount? Well, there's 4 screws in front here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll get rid of those. Okay, now where are the other screws that I know are going to be here? Okay, this one is for the transport. Oh yeah, that's loosening it up real good. Okay, now we got to free up the connectors for the transport. And where are they? Let's find out. First off, let's get rid of these zip ties. They're old and they have to go anyway. Okay, this one for sure has to be unplugged. Nice, what is it? 10-pin connector. Then this one goes up to the quartz lock board, or PLL board if you prefer. Unplugs from the transport side. 4-pin connector. And we've got one that comes over here to the middle of the capacitors. Also a 4-pin connector. But it's easy to tell where this one plugs in because you obviously wouldn't plug it back into the same board it comes from. Let's see, is that it? No, there's going to be other ones over yonder. So let's go find them. Gotta unplug the heads and stuff, don't we? Okay, we've got these wires coming over here. These will be for recording, according to the circuit board. So that's the record head right there. I can just get wires untangled. And the playback and erase. Oh, we've got 2 separate wires for the playback heads. Or head. We've got an orange one here. I'll just show you where these go. The orange one comes back here and it's for the right channel. And then this other one is for the left channel and it's white. Yes, that's for the playback. And then there's the erase head connector, which comes all the way back here next to this can. Remind me to check that connector for bad solder joints. I don't want a repeat of the Sony 666 experiment where I missed that and it wouldn't erase metal tapes properly. That's always where you want to go if these decks aren't erasing metal tapes properly, is the erase head connector. And any other possible bad solder joints in that general circuit can cause that as well. Okay, now from the service manual, I remember that I have to dismount the board for the shutoff sensor, which is down in here. Have to do that in order to take off the counter belt. Just showing you how this is right now. That screw down there takes off the Hall effect board, or shutoff board as you will. And then we have to dismount the belt for the counter. That's basically what the deal is there. I'm just grabbing it by the wires and pulling it up out of the way like so. And now I need my little paperclip hook thinger, and I can get the counter belt off. It should be noted that there's another pulley right down here where you have to run the counter belt underneath in order to engage the counter again, in order to keep that from interfering with other things. Okay, so I should be able to remove the transport now. And it looks like that is indeed the case. So I'll set that off to the side and check out all this dirt. This deck has been dirty for a long time, so I'm thinking I might entirely pull that board off and just thoroughly bathe it. I don't know, this deck and others like it are making a strong case for me getting a parts cleaner of some sort. One of those ultrasonic jobbies that other people have, but I don't have yet for some cotton picking reason. I don't know if I really want to desolder all these wires though, so all right, results of capacitor replacement. These are all the caps from the power supply, and none of them have failed. Some of the small ones are getting up there in ESR, but nothing too critical. I just mainly wanted to get these old caps out of my own personal decks is all. And as for the replacements, these four here have been doubled in capacity. They were 1000 microfarad, now they're 2200. Reason I did that is I believe it's these two run the plus minus 12 volt rails for the audio circuitry, and these two run the mechanism. So they're all the same value. It's just these two are a little bit taller because that's what I could get my hands on at the time. They're all the same value. These two have been kept 1000 microfarads. I'm not exactly sure what they do, but my impressions from the schematic were they're not that important. So I got this board as clean as I possibly could, but there's still a little bit of dust here and there. The underside of the board was just full of old solder flux, so I was able to clean that off just fine using my usual trick of Kim wipes plus toothbrush. So bottom of that board looks a heck of a lot better than it did from factory. And I've done a test power up. Everything's good. No worries. And I've also recapped the PLL board up here as well. Alrighty folks, before we get into the transport, I thought you might like to see how the face panel or front panel or whatever cleaned up. Here it is. And there are some things to watch out for when you're cleaning this particular faceplate that I should probably get into. First off, ignore this stuff there. One of my clamps broke and left that big gouge on there. That's real nice. Thanks, Mr. Clamp. Anyhow, it is possible to take all this stuff off for cleaning, but I warn you, this metal piece here that goes from here to here and stretches over this part of it, it's glued up in this area here, but it is screwed down under here. And this middle screw actually holds on this ring terminal, which I didn't know was a ring terminal, so I have resoldered that now, and I will put that back in place later. It just goes in to a little T-shaped nut here, the screw does, and that's how that holds itself in place. Now this part of the front is entirely screwed in. There are 4 screws. There's, I think, 1, 2, 3, and then there's a 4th one underneath the buttons here. You access that by taking this board out and then popping the buttons out. So that was kind of frustrating to find out. I don't know why they would entirely screw this in, but then do this thing with half glue and half screws. It's irritating, but it can be done. I used my gel type super glue to hold this part of it in place and clamped it down, and it worked fine except for the clamps slipping off and scratching it up. But not too hard. There's foam underneath these buttons that will cause you to have a hissy fit because it'll all be degrading, but there's also some of that foam in under here, but I was able to save that foam. It's just right here with the buttons, which by the way fell out, but everything's been cleaned and polished now, these 2 buttons anyway. I'll fix that in place later. And I did the same thing with the rotary controls here. As you can see, they are much cleaner now. And I might have forgotten to mention this, but I paid $118 for this tape deck. It's either $117 or $118. Now, with regards to the transport, it looks like I am not going to have time to do my grease video today, so I don't know when that's gonna happen, but probably over the weekend. I've got 3 different types of damping grease here. There's this stuff, WLXY-XY2, and then I found this stuff, which is supposed to be for camera lenses. That's probably the one I'm going to go with. I'm not sure. And then because I couldn't get my hands on the Tribosyn orange stuff that I was trying to get, the 320 orange, I found this stuff on eBay. This is Klubersynth Li4422 UV. So I'm not exactly sure what this is like. I just know it's a really expensive product and thankfully brand new in packaging. So we'll see how good this stuff is as well. And then I'll pick the one that I think will work the best. And then you've already seen my Permatex synthetic grease. Maybe we'll try this stuff as well. I don't know. This is what I could get, people. That's all I can say. One more little thing before we move on to the transport. I have removed and taken apart this switch for cleaning, and I'm glad I did it too because it was absolutely filthy. The previous owner was a smoker, and there was all kinds of nastiness in there, so I had to take it apart to clean. The way you do that on this type of switch, I don't know if I can easily show you, but I will try. You see these little legs here? Well, you squeeze them closed, then that way you can pull the circuit board out from the bottom, and then usually the contacts will come out with the circuit board, and then you can clean them that way. It's basically a similar process of how I did the button switches on the JVC Double D99. If you go back and watch that video, I basically did the same thing. I just polished all of the contact surfaces in there with Autosol, and then I went back in, cleaned all that up, and then went in with Deoxit D100L for permanent treatment, and that should have gotten that nicely serviced now. For the 2 potentiometers beneath that, I went with the D5 and just spray cleaned them. I may have to take them apart and do a better job of that, but I will find that out later if I have to do that. For now, I guess I can screw these back down again so that the board is securely fastened again. In order to get this switch out, you do have to come all the way to the back of the board over here, where there's a nut and screw holding in this side of the board back here. But it's really not that hard to deal with. Okay, time to do the transport, and I'm confessing right now that I'm not sure if I like my new camera gimbal much better than the old one. It's got an extended tilt mode so I can move the camera down, but it's not quite far enough, I'm finding. So I don't know. Maybe I should set up my action camera so we can do a overhead shot as well. I might have to do that as we go along here with this. But first we're going to pull the beauty plate off the front of this thing. This will be a good transport, I think, to work on the damping grease selection part of things, because everything in this is mechanical. It's all solenoid driven. The belt for the counter is 9 inches internal circumference, so I hope I've got one for this thing. That remains to be seen yet. Okay, and I'm noticing, well, first thing I'm noticing is the counter belt, which is really not so good anymore, but you can see how long this thing is. Why don't we just measure that real quick? Okay, what we have here is 0.9 millimeters. About. I'm going to try to use my 0.7s if I've got one, because counter belts don't need to be that thick. They just need to run the counter is all. Okay, and we've got 135 millimeters internal circumference divided by 2. Man, that's over 10 inches internal circumference. Yeah, 10.66 inches. That is very badly stretched. So we'll deal with that later. Right now I just want to get into this and start servicing. And it looks like the idler for the reel drive is back in behind there. I'm going to have to get at it from behind. You can see down here that there is a little arm that comes up for back tension on this particular transport. It's just right here. We'll have to make sure that goes back on the way it's supposed to be. I think this indicator lamp was working, so I'm not going to worry about that too much right now, but since darn near everything is done from the back side of this thing, we might as well get into that now. I want to replace the capacitors on here as well. They usually don't need doing, but my own personal deck, I might as well do it. This eject linkage is going to drive me crazy at this rate. Let's just take this linkage off. It's already annoying me, and when it comes to this switch, we were going to have to get inside that to service it, because I tried spray cleaning it and it's not responding to service that way. So we have to open it up. I believe this switch is also used in the DR-M8, according to a Japanese blog I saw. In this deck, it's normally open, or it's the switch is open when the plunger is depressed. Between these two contacts, it'll be closed between this contact and this one. And I'm finding that I'm not able to get anything less than something like 50 ohms or something like that on when this switch is acting up. So yes, the switch closes when the transport is in this position, ejected. So what happens is if the switch isn't working properly, as it is in my case, this will enable the deck to fire up the transport when the door is ejected, and I don't want that. So I couldn't find a replacement, so we have to clean that. Okay, so I hope you can see this. I think you can, because I can. So what we have to do is we have to delete these little plastic pieces here so we can get inside this switch. And then I'll have to either use heat or super glue in order to put the switch back together once I'm done with it. But this is one of the reasons why I don't have time for that that video on greases. I'll try to do that this weekend. And then I should update you on the ZX5 while we're at it, because I'm planning to use that as my sort of test run for doing this for other people. Basically, the idea is to fully service that according to the factory service manual and just completely make sure everything's done. And I think I'm going to be doing a 2-week cycle for all customer decks like that, just to make sure I can get everything just sort of perfectly done as the way the factory wants you to do those things. And then the ZX5 will immediately, just about lost the spring. The ZX5 will immediately go up for sale on eBay, and I'll try to get top dollar for it. So we'll see how that works out. Okay, switch plunger has been removed, and now we have access to the contacts. And oh, good grief! Look how bad that is. That's worse than the tape type switch on the board I was just showing you. But we can fix this, no problem. I will try isopropyl alcohol first to clean the switch. If it doesn't respond to that, we're going to have to go with Autosol. See if we can clean this. It is cleaning up, but not very well. All right. Out comes the autosol. I need a better cleaning job than that. It's not going to take long with autosol. As you can see, autosol just took that oxidation right off that thing. Very nice. I will give that another pass with the iso alcohol just to make sure that's clean and there's no polish still in there. Switch will be working nicely once it's done, but considering the difficulties of getting inside the switch, I'm going to do something else that I don't normally do with these types of switches. I still got to clean the contact, and this is the piece of paper I used to clean the tape type switch. So I'll put some D100L on the edge of the paper, and we'll just scrape it back and forth and clean it off that way. No wonder this thing had higher resistance. It's ridiculous. Okay, that took entirely too long, but this is the stuff I have that I'm treating this with. This is dielectric grease with D100L built into it. So I don't know how good it is. I just knew I wanted to try it. So try it I will. Let me just cut the end off this so I can get some out. And let's see, where's my dirty Q-tip I was just using? I will cut the dirty end off that Q-tip, and I will use the shaft as an applicator for that stuff. Basically what this is going to do is protect the switch and keep it from oxidizing again. That's probably more than enough right there. So I'll just dab it on. And in case you're worried, dielectric grease does not insulate. It just lubricates and protects. Now if I can just get the cover back on, maybe we can test it. Okay, it's snapping together fairly well here, so should probably work. Let's test it. Okay, remember it should be a dead short when the plunger is in the position it currently is. And yep, 0 ohms, 0.1. It's much better than I had it before. Press the switch, mega ohms. See, I could get it to give me 0.7 ohms or something like that before I took it apart, but every once in a while I would release the plunger and it would be like 500 ohms or something like that. Gotta love these long stringy bits of plastic that come out with it whenever you do something like this. So I think we're gonna keep doing the overhead camera angle for now. It strikes me as maybe being a little easier for the transport side of this, or for the back side of the transport than trying to get the gimbal to cooperate all day. First off, I want to take the oil keeper off the cap stand because we're going to be in there playing around with it. I'll just take that and put it to the side here. As long as the door is on the front of this thing, I'm not worried about damaging anything up front, but I just wanted to make sure I'm doing everything I can to give you a good camera angle here. I could be doing this as well with the gimbal plus the action camera, but the action camera doesn't really have very good zooming capabilities, so we'll just keep doing it this way, I think. Okay, all those wires are freed up, and everything's wire wrapped over here, which is going to be fun when it comes to recapping this board, but we'll take off the FG coil wires right here, just a 2-pin connector. And let's see what I can do to get in here. And this is already the disadvantage of doing the overhead camera angle, because I can't get my screwdriver on the screws. I'm still using my phone because it's pretty much the best tool I've got for doing these electronics repairs, it seems like. Okay, motorboard has been recapped. And it bears mentioning while I'm at it that capacitors for customer decks will not be free and will not be automatically changed. You guys are going to have to specifically request that if you want it. I don't believe in overcharging or charging extra for my parts the way some people kind of do, but basically my cost will be your cost, but capacitors are not free. They just cost a bunch. I'll just tell you that. So that's been done, and we can now get inside the motor assembly, I hope. Let's see, how do I do this without a bunch of wires and stuff getting in the way here? Maybe I should remove the switch again that I just cleaned and fixed and whatnot. Let's see, this is, what is it? It's kind of a bracket, it looks like, but clearly it has to come out to get the motor out. Remove bracket. Okay, that should be the last of them, I think. Just 3 screws. Oh yeah, that's the last of them. I think that's the last of them. These hinges kind of want to come up too. So I guess we'll just, I don't know, do that. Got a couple of nubs here that I might want to grease later. They just engage down in here. There's the motor coils for you. Everything on this was working, so I'm not going to try to get into the motor at all, aside from pulling the capstan out, which needs a service. So out it comes. Nice big flywheel on this thing. I love it. So I'll set that up out of the way for now. Lots of dust everywhere inside this thing, I gotta say. Okay, now we have to remove the reel drive assembly because we need to service the idler. From the back, apparently. Kind of annoying, but what are you gonna do? It's kind of the same way as the DR-F8, except I think it has fewer idlers in here to worry about. Yeah, reel drive comes out as an assembly. I would really like to divorce the reel drive from the board so I can service everything better, but I don't know. Okay, now this idler, what do we have here? Well, it's coming off easily enough, I think. This is going to be a T-shaped idler, isn't it? Yes. Oh, I hate that. And it's very glazed, so it has to be replaced. Terrific. Why did I take this off before measuring the outer diameter? I don't know. This is one of those cotton picking non-split washers, isn't it? Let me look at this through a close-up here on the phone. Yeah, that's a non-split washer. Great. You got to kind of shove them forward with your thumbnail or something and then get a tool onto the other side. And maybe it'll come off. Maybe it'll fight you. But this one is not fighting too hard, I'll tell you that. And while we're at it, before I forget, let's lube up this reel motor. I think I can just get in there to get some oil in there. Not the easiest thing in the world. But I have successfully done it. I see there's a set screw on that pulley if you want to take that off, but I don't want to, so I'm not going to. There it is, just right there. A lot of the time those set screws will strip out before they come out again. I was not able to find any idler dimensions for this model, so we're going to get those dimensions right now. Okay, outer 15.2. Height is about 2.9. So the thickness is 1.8. So I get to find an idler now. Okay, folks. Chinese idler kit to the rescue. I couldn't find any half-decent idler for this thing, so that's what I had to do. There was just one in there that seems like it's going to work, but it's a little bit on the small side, so this might be another case of the same thing we had going on with the DR-M3, where the proper size idlers just do not exist. I don't know what it is with Denon and their idlers, but yeah, I found one that goes on and kind of works, but I don't know if it'll work well. I do have some other idlers. These almost work. These are SB111 O-rings, square profile. I actually bought these for the DR-M3, but these are slightly too big and they're slightly too thick. And I managed to get this one sanded down well enough to fit the groove, but it's too loose on there, so can't use that one. I also tried wrapping the inside of this with solder, like this stuff, because it's not very thick, and I thought it would act as a spacer. Well, no, doesn't work, because then this idler ends up being too big. So I don't have much choice here. I have to go with the Chinese one and hope it works. And hopefully not lose it in the process. So I'm going to lightly sand this in order to get all the glossy slickness off the idler, but I'll just go very light with this. This is 400 grit sandpaper, which is really too coarse for this, but I'm just not even applying any pressure. I'm just trying to get the glossy finish off the idler itself so it'll grip better. It's 14.9 millimeters external diameter now, and I should measure the inside of this for your benefit, and the inner diameter is 11 millimeters. So yeah, 11 by 15 by 1.8 I think is what you need for this. Not ideal, but whatever. I'm just doing what I gots to do here. Probably have to come back in here and change this anyway once I find a better idler for it, but as long as it works well enough and whatnot, we'll just have to see. And hopefully that'll do the trick, at least as far as getting this deck up and running, because the old idler is not serviceable anymore. This is, it's already cracking and splitting. So have to do something, and that's what I chose to do. This is definitely going to be a 2-day service job on this one, because took that damn long to find an idler for it. Oh, and where did that washer come from? This one right here probably came from up here. That would be my guess. So I'm going to put it over on top of the capstan, and then I'll review my footage later and figure out where that's supposed to go. Okay, let's get this idler on. Okay, folks, so it is actually possible to test the real motor without worrying about blowing up electronics, because the real motor doesn't actually interface with anything on the motorboard. It just goes to a couple of standoffs that don't really connect back to anything else in the on the board, except for a capacitor that is not installed. So I'm going to have to hold the board up like this while we fire up this motor and see what we can do with the idler here. Okay, that's 1.5 volts, 3.5. And I'm able to stop the motor with it. That is good. Let's reverse polarity if we can. Same story there. It's going to work. At least well enough to get the deck up and running again. Whether or not it's going to have good wow and flutter remains to be seen. So, let's move onward with this debacle, shall we? Okay, can I just put this down over there and keep it out of my way? I think so. Okay, Denon, how am I supposed to get the reel tables off now? Got a couple more non-split washers and they are not exactly coming off the way I would like them to. Okay, so I got that stupid washer off. It wasn't easy. Those are not the usual types of washers that come off easily on those kinds of dealies. It was much tighter than the usual kind, but I managed somehow. Had to use a big screwdriver in order to pry it off, but in the process I found two more little washers where I don't know where they go or where they came from or what they're for. Great. I knew I shouldn't have started this today. Anyway, we got one reel table off. The other one, definitely not doing on camera. And this is when I have to start remembering which washers are for the reel tables and which are from wherever the heck they came from. Little iso alcohol to clean the reel table shaft. And I got to get rid of my bench power supply here so I can grab my pipe cleaners. And we'll just go right through the middle of the reel table. Just to clean that out. And I will grab a Kim wipe as well. Moisten it up real good with iso alcohol, and we'll just go around the outside of the reel table because this also has to be done. Not really seeing any type of clutch at all in this reel table, so if there's high wow and flutter, it's going to be coming directly from that Chinese idler. There's no excuse at that point. Now, Molykote EM30L, where did I put that thing? I got washers and all kinds of random stuff all over the place in here. I don't think there actually really needs to be much in the way of Molykote on this spring because this doesn't really contact the moving parts. Okay, take-up side's done. Now I just got to do the supply side. Or no, wait, that was the supply side. And yet there's still no clutch in the take-up side. Okay, I'm just going to do this off camera. I will be back. All right, folks. I have found where one of those orphan washers goes, but I haven't found where the other one goes. The other one I'm talking about is, I'm trying to get it in my fingers here, is this one. This one measures at 4 millimeters outer diameter, 2 millimeters internal, and it's 0.15 millimeters thick. That doesn't correspond to anything that's in the service manual, and the only things that measurement even comes close to is on the head block on the other side. So I don't know what the deal is, but I just can't find where that washer goes. The other one goes on the capstan, and it's actually reversed the way it's supposed to be right now. The smaller washer goes in towards the actual flywheel, and then the big one sits on top of this. And that's the oil control washer there. I just have it in there to keep track of it. So, as aggravating as this has been so far, I don't know how much more I want to do today, but what I really want to do right now is take this switch off for record prevention so I can split the mechanism away and just service the mech without having to worry about the electronics part of it getting in my way. This will give me a chance to really get this switch clean as well. And since that screw doesn't want to be removed, I might as well leave it in the switch right now. What an aggravating deck to work on so far. Now, another thing I gotta do, I guess, is take the lamp off. Which just kind of unfolds its way in there. And there's one more thing I need to tell you about on the real drive, because the two hubs aren't quite the same. You'll remember there was that spring under this one, the supply side. That's for back tension, I think. And underneath there's no spring on the take-up side. So there is another washer under there, which I almost lost, but thankfully I didn't. So, will I find where that washer goes? Probably not, because like I said, it's not even in the service manual. So I'm not going to worry about it. But we do have the entire mechanism sitting out here ready to be serviced. And I'm just having a quick look at it. There's not a lot of grease I'm finding in here, so I'm not exactly sure what to use to lubricate this, or what I will use. We do have to get in under this plate, apparently, which may involve removing the FG coil, or may not, I don't know. Let us find out. Okay. Try to work the plate loose from the glue that's holding it. And no, that is not going to come out unless I take the FG coil out. Note the orientation of the wires. They're coming out from the top. I hope I'm not damaging the FG coil doing this. This plate already wants to come off independently of the coil itself. But I got it. Oh, okay, that's just a magnetic assembly there. I won't worry about it then too terribly much. I will run the screws back into it though, just to make sure it stays happy. I'll set that out of the way. And now we can see the linkage. Well, this looks like a lot of fun to deal with. I got to remember how this goes back together, because I'm going to be pulling all this stuff out and re-greasing, I think. And what grease to use, I don't know. There's not a lot here that's metal to metal, so my new Permatex stuff probably will not get used. It is plastic safe, so it would work, but I'm cautious about using something that might be a little too thick on this compared to what Denon used at the factory. I don't know, maybe I'll try the Permatex stuff anyway. Should have waited for tomorrow, I think. But then I wouldn't have had time to get everything done tomorrow. Oh well, what are you going to do? I'm going to keep fighting with this spring, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, and I think, not sure, I might have to get in from the other side and pull the head block now in order to get this plate back off. Or this plate off. Hasn't been back off. I'm going to have to consult my footage just to put this thing back together again at this rate. Right now what I got to do is take the door off somehow, in some way. Okay, I need screwdriver for this. That is for the damper. And we got a spring over here to watch. Of course, they've got the head wires running through one of these hinges, but at least it'll be out of the way and I can get the head block off. Watch your ball bearings when you do this kind of thing. Okay, we got a little spacer here. And don't worry, I heard where that ball bearing went. And I saw where that screw went. There's going to be more ball bearings to deal with, and we got to get rid of this tension arm. If we can find our tools. We don't know where our tools have gone to, because they're hiding again. Right in front of my face. Thank God I've got the service manual for this one, because it's really starting to push my buttons. And that went flying. I gotta go find it. Okay, no spring to worry about on this, so I will just pull it off and put that on top of my solder station. Now it looks like we've got 2 clamps, one on each side of the head, and it'll be free to come off. And I'm losing more ball bearings. Of course I am. Not really. I can see it. These are all the same size ball bearings, it looks like. So this is about the time we're gonna get blah blah. Mangle our words. This is about the time we gotta figure out exactly what damping grease to use in here. Time to clean up the grease. What's left of it. And as you may be able to see, we have witness marks for where the ball bearings were riding on the bottom here. So, let's see if I can just continue cleaning a little bit better here. I'm just using a dry Q-tip right now. And before I get in under here and try to pick a damping grease, I gotta go in from the other side again and continue removing all this crap. Oh, this is fun. We are having fun. Not really. Let's see, what do I got to do under here? Well, there's a spring there to remove. These 2 have already been removed. And we have a screw to remove. A screw with a spacer on it. Okay, and off comes that arm. Now, do I want to deal with this? This is for, well, I suppose I can as long as I'm here. That's for the eject, I think. Yeah, there's nothing too critical underneath I need to worry about. So, if I just pull this spring off, I can do that. So I guess we'll work on that right now. And then we'll see how that Permatex grease works on this particular sliding piece. If I don't like it, I can take it off and put Molykote on instead. It's about the only other grease I have that would work in this particular area. I wouldn't want to use damping grease here, I don't think. Ooh, it's already 4 o'clock. I gotta stop for the day real soon. Okay, where's my Permatex? Where did I put that? Here did I put that. So I'm going to take another dirty Q-tip and cut the end off to do this. I don't know how good this stuff is for separation at all. It's fairly thick. It feels pretty good. It feels like it might work on this. The thing I like about the Permatex stuff is it's easy for me to find and get. Nothing else is. I can get the Permatex stuff at Canadian Tire. Okay, I'll reconnect the spring and we'll see what that feels like. Actually, I like that. I like what that's doing for it. And here's the pinch roller doohickey right there. So I think I'm going to keep using that stuff from now on. Okay, now what do I need to do for this arm? It's about ready to come out now, but it's got this spring here for the brakes to release. Hope my phone battery doesn't die while I'm trying to shoot this thing. Okay, brake spring, how do you come off? You must come off, because you went on. There we go. And now off comes the arm. Great. Fantastic. And yes, there is some nasty old grease under here. So let's clean that up and reinstall with new grease. Okay, so I've got this sliding plate back in, and you might be able to see that I've used Molykote EM30L for the brake assembly. I just felt like the Permatex stuff was just a bit too sticky in order to go in under there, and I'm actually not even sure that I like the action here any better, but we'll just go with it and see what happens, I think. I don't know if I can put this back on or not, but I will try. By using a heavier grease with the head block, the solenoids that are responsible for moving this up and down don't have to work as hard to keep the deck in playing status, as it were. Should consume less current. At least that's kind of the way I'm thinking about it. But the Permatex does seem to be working fairly well. It's doing a lot of damping work here, but I think it's good. I don't know. We're going to find out the hard way if it ain't. But I got to reinstall these arms now and try to get the head block back on, I guess. Not sure if I really like how much the slider plate is influencing the brakes right now, but I did use Molykote under there, so that's about the thinnest grease I can put in there is all I'm saying with that. Okay, now we got to do the head block. Okay, now damping grease. Where are my 3 things of damping grease? Here's one of them. We'll try this stuff first. Okay, now how thick is this stuff? Oh, that is really thick. Really thick, really sticky. I don't know if I like that. That's too much damping, I think. Threw my money away on that one, I think. That's almost as thick as the damping grease I have for door mechanisms. In fact, it might be the same stuff, 300,000 weight. XY2, your turn. Oh, much better. Much, much better. I like that. That might be the good stuff there. Let's clobber us some Kluber, shall we? I don't like this as so small, this container, but what are you going to do? Actually, the Kluber is just about the same stuff as the XY2, so we're going to go with the Kluber on this. And this is actual damping grease. Now once the Kluber runs out, I will go to the XY2 and I will never look back, I think. Just need a teeny bit, and that's all. Doesn't take much, just enough to fill the crevasse, as it were. I haven't cleaned my ball bearings yet. I should go clean those. Okay, we've got one successful Kluber installation here. I will get a Kim wipe and hopefully try to keep track of these 6 ball bearings, because Denon likes to punish me. So yes, I didn't get the damping grease I wanted, but at least I've got some that should work here for customer decks. So I gotta get 3 of these little ball bearings and hopefully not lose the rest of them. Just working them back and forth so I can get the Kluber on them. And they're on, so should be able to just reinstall the head block now. Okay, and for the head block, this needs to be lubricated, this slot, so I'm going to use the Permatex for that. And I just got a battery warning on the phone, so I'm going to have to shut you off very soon and call it a day. But thankfully we're getting real close to finishing this anyway. I think. Probably not. I haven't done the capstan stuff yet, but that's okay. I'm going to shut the camera off now, and I'm going to reassemble. I will use Kluber-Synth on all 3 positions here as well, and I guess we'll pick up tomorrow. Okay, I've got the back of this thing put back together, and just thought I should tell you exactly what I used and where. This pivot point here and this one here is still using Molykote EM30L. I thought maybe it would be good to have sort of a thinner grease there. This, for the pinch roller, that is the new Permatex. And that's about all there is to it. I did Molykote up here as well, and over here. But all the major sliding surfaces are using that Permatex stuff. And I'm not dissatisfied with the way this is working. It seems a little sluggish right now, but that's because it's not standing up and gravity is not assisting right now. It should work fine. I'm fairly happy with what I've done so far. Okay, so it is now Thursday afternoon, and this deck is just about 95% done at this point, I think. I don't really see much more to do in the front of this thing, so I've already cleaned the heads off camera, and I should mention that this tilt arm, or this tension arm, there's a little bracket, or a little hollowed out section right in here where that pin sits, and you want it in there. Reason being, there's an adjustment with a spring on it right down yonder to adjust that for proper spring tension. And if you put this back together wrong, you can get this on top of that arm and it will no longer provide spring tension. So make sure that is springy like it is now. With regards to the grease I've used, oh, see, you can see it right there, how it springs back and forth like that. Anyhow, with regards to the grease I've used, I think I'm going to scrap my plans to do a grease video. Reason being, I know everything I need to know from this video, so we'll figure out something else to do next week. When it comes to servicing decks for others, I think I'm going to make you wait for the ZX5 to get here to do that. We'll do a thorough service of that one, including all factory calibrations, which is how I'm going to be doing customer decks, and I'll probably split that up into 2 weeks, like part 1, transport service, and part 2, alignment or whatever. I don't know. We'll see how much I can get done on that when it gets here. I gotta fast track this because I gotta start making money off this channel somehow. Because YouTube ain't paying jack for this kind of thing. I made $200 in January, that's all. That's after a viral video on that big TCL TV, which is, by the way, still amazing. I love that TV. Out comes the pinch roller. I think I'm going to be able to save this one. Note that there is a spring on here, and it's a 2-piece roller setup. Hope you guys can see that. I've decided to forego the overhead camera shot today. Not sure if I'll be doing that as a permanent thing or not. Okay, I'm going to have to put more grease under here. So I will use the Permatex for that. And by the way, I'm already happy enough with this stuff that I think I'm going to get another tube of this stuff next time I'm in the city. Unless some of you guys out there can talk me out of it or something. And yeah, we got to clean this up and service it. I will do this the way I always have been doing it lately, and I will clean it with acetone first, then wire brush and soapy water. You've seen me do this before, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it off camera, and I'll come back when it's done. Okay, so the roller is done, cleaned up nicely. Ended up having to do 3 passes with the acetone on this one, but it responded nicely, and it's going to be fine. Generally, I'm finding that either they respond to the acetone and soap and water with wire brush, or they need replacing. There's no in-between with these cotton-picking things, so I have not really been using my rubber renew all that often, especially on pinch rollers. Sometimes I have no choice, but in this case I had a choice, and it worked out. So, the size of yonder roller is 12.7, so 13 mil will work. by 8 millimeters about. And then the shaft is 2.5 millimeters, so it's not the usual pinch roller they have going on in here. And I wanted to say this as well, but I forgot. But the ZX5 is in Calgary right now. It is very close. It's not going to be too much of a wait at all in order for me to get back, or to get into that particular deck. And the 482 is in Regina, so that'll be here very quickly. So next week's going to be busy for me. I got to shoot a segment for the 680ZX video just to evaluate the 482, and then I got to figure out what I'm doing yet next week. So I got to put this pinch roller back together and reinstall, and then the deck is ready to go back together, I think. I don't think I'm omitting anything at this point. All I had to do today was get the pinch roller done, and the deck is ready, pretty much. I don't know if that idler is going to work out, but I have now found one at Fix Your Audio that may work. I'm not going to hold my breath on that because it's a really, really thin idler. It's 1.5 millimeters thick, and this is a 1.8 millimeter groove that's in there, but it would probably work. I think it would. I'll put the dimensions on the screen, but I don't have one to evaluate with this deck. So probably not going to get one either if this thing works as it is, because you saw it. I was able to stop the motor with the one that's in there. That ought to be good enough, and I'm just cleaning up some extra grime on these pivots for the solenoid here. I want it much cleaner than it came to me in. But yeah, next time I think I will go ahead and use the Permatex on those little arms. I think that would have worked perfectly in this. But I'm not going to get back into it to change it out either, because this is my own personal deck, so it's here for me to experiment on. Just in the middle of putting this back together, and I found something I need to make you aware of. This Hall effect board down here has a side-to-side adjustment. You want to get that close to the magnet on this pulley right here without it actually touching. If you don't, that might cause the deck to shut down and auto stop. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. I have it, I think, set properly now, but we'll just have to see. And yes, I did lubricate this little pulley. There was a lot of old white lithium grease from the factory on there, so I just went ahead with the Molykote EM30L right there. So I think it should work. Everything on the pinch roller has been relubed with the Permatex 31832 that I showed you before. So let me finish getting this back together, and we will test. Okay guys, friendly word of warning. This is the tape monitor switch for the DR-F8, and do not take one of these apart. You will regret it. I got this one back together after cleaning it, but I just barely got it back together. The problem is this latching mechanism up here. If you take this apart, that will fall apart and you will lose parts. I guarantee it. But thankfully, to put it back together, it took me an hour, but I managed to do it thanks to the fact that there is another switch right there that you can use as a reference to get the latching mechanism back together. That was a friggin' pain. I would just rather replace these with new switches rather than do that again, but I don't exactly know what to replace these with, so I didn't have a replacement. Well, I did actually have a replacement. There's a compatible one in the BX150, or in the BX1 parts deck, but I'm glad I was able to save this one, because that was frustrating as heck. So let me continue putting this back together. I'm not even going to bother trying to clean that one. That's the MPX filter switch. I'm never going to use that, so whatever. Anyway, I used Deoxit D100L. It was the only thing that would work, because you cannot get this this little board off the top of that thing without breaking it. So I had to extract all the contacts out the front. They basically dragged themselves out with the plunger. It was just a nightmare, and I had to be very careful putting it back together, but It's testing out great with the multimeter, so I'm gonna just put it back in the deck and we'll continue. All right, it is back together. It was not fun. They did not build this to be particularly serviceable, at least from the standpoint of putting the front panel back on and off. But I got it. So just got done demagnetizing the head, so let's power up and see what it does. She is powered up, and the quartz lock light is on. Cab stand motor is working. So let's get some sound out of her if we can. And of course the new idler is slipping. It's not real bad, but it's clearly slipping. Anyway, I didn't have a better idler for that, so I don't know what else to do about it. So I guess I would want just maybe 0.5 millimeter more width on that idler tire, and then it would work. So I don't know what I can find, if anything. It's aggravating, so let's see if it plays. Sure does. Meters aren't deflecting very far, but it sounds a little slow, but okay, what? Okay, there we go. I don't know why it was giving me trouble ejecting just now, but let's do more testing. Oh, can't use pause because it keeps running the capstan drive now. Something's not right. Yeah, something isn't right. I gotta get back into the transport and figure this crap out now. Maybe it's the grease. Maybe the Permatex is too thick. But first, I want to see if the auto calibration works. I'll grab one of these and we'll see if it does anything with that. Oh, let's see here. Normal. She's running. Seems to have done the trick. So I guess the auto calibration is working. I don't know. Oh, what an aggravating tape deck to work on. I gotta tell ya. It is kind of working though, so I just don't know what's going on with this. Okay, folks, as you can see, I'm all the way back inside the cotton picking transport of this thing, and I cannot find a problem with the linkages at all. Everything is back where it's supposed to be. So I did notice that while I was trying to engage pause, the brake solenoid wasn't actually firing properly. So there's an issue there, I think, with the circuitry inside the logic. So I think I'm going to have to do a deep dive into that, but for now, I just have no more time to work on this. I'm going to put this back together. We're going to check the wound flutter, and that's going to be the end of the video for this week. I think that the idler might actually be okay, the one I put on there. If the brake solenoid is not firing properly, then it's not going to disengage the brakes properly. That's this arm right here. As you can see, there's no binding or anything. So I don't know what's going on with this, but I am incredibly unhappy with it right now. So I think maybe I'll come back to it on another day and see if I can get pause working. For now, playback works. I don't know what else to tell you on this thing because it's really aggravating at this point, and I just have to walk away from it for a while. Okay, folks, I have come to a Notice something about this deck when it acts up like that on the pause. Watch what happens when I try to hit pause and I don't mess with the mechanism. See, I've just pushed the pause button and the pinch roller is rotating. It's engaged. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to press down on the brake solenoid. And now I'll hit pause again. Now it's not going to do it, of course. Let's try that again. I'm pressing down on the solenoid and hitting play. See, now the pause is working. If I press down on the solenoid first and then hit play, it works. And it keeps working. I'll show you what the solenoid does when this happens. You see? It's working now. And yet, when I push stop, then push pause again, you see? That solenoid does nothing. Well, actually, it does kind of do something. You can kind of feel it kick, but it doesn't really kick very much. It's only when you press that down manually, focus, and then hit play. You see the solenoid is engaged now. It's staying engaged. And now pause is working. So I don't think this is a lubrication issue inside the solenoid or a dirt issue. I think what's going on is the control circuitry is having trouble with this solenoid. I think that's the problem. We saw very clearly, or at least I saw very clearly, that there's nothing wrong with the linkages in there. They're exactly the same as when I got in there to begin with. So I don't know what's going on with this, but something's going on with this. And I'm going to have to diagnose this in my spare time at some point. I've kind of got you on my arm here, so that's what's going on with the camera not being steady right now. I took it off the gimbal because the gimbal wasn't making me very happy. Just one more little quick segment for you while I'm thinking about this, and before I move you on to the rest of the video. I just wanted to explain how these two solenoids work, because it's very like the solenoids that are found in the XK007 and XK009. They work pretty much the same way here. What happens is, to engage the solenoid, there's a high voltage kick, and then once the kick has engaged, the high voltage lets go, and then there's a lower maintenance voltage that comes on. In this case, it's 22 volts for the high power kick, and then 6 volts for the holding voltage. And we know from the way this is behaving that the holding voltage is working. Reason I know that is because I can push down on this like so, hit play, and then it'll keep working for the duration of the play engagement. But the second that the hold voltage is released, it goes back to working the way it was before. So I'm going to have to troubleshoot the kicker voltage circuit, which is basically part of the same circuit. It's almost exactly like the XK007 and 009 AMTS solenoids. So most likely there's a transistor that's getting flaky, or maybe a diode or some such. It's going to be down in here somewhere, probably one of these, and it'll have failed or something like that. I'm just going to have to look for it on my own time. Anyway, let's continue on. It's time to check WoW and Flutter, and I will remind you that this deck is not working properly yet. I still got to diagnose this solenoid issue, but we'll just have to see what it looks like for now. And I don't know, maybe we can do this again later. I don't know. I'm kind of over the experience of working on this deck right now, so I kind of want to put it back on the shelf and just forget about it for a while. So here we go. .032%. Okay, I'm going to call it now. The brakes are not interfering with playback. So that's good, but look at the speed. That is not correct. Let me see if I can adjust that. I don't know how much adjustment I'm going to have on this because it is quartz locked, but I will try if I can see the control to adjust it, that is. Okay, let's see if we can adjust this. I should be doing this with a scope on the test point on the quartz board because clearly she's not working right here. But I got the quartz lock light still on. Never had an adjustable quartz lock circuit before. Okay, now we're going in the wrong direction. I think. Maybe not. The light's off now. Okay, light is back on, and I'm going to have to leave it there, I think. 3019 hertz. Not great, not terrible. 0.029% wound flutter. It's getting better all the time. I like that. So, yeah, I'm going to have to call it a day right there, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. I got to go relax now. I got to get away from this deck. I don't know what else to tell you. Bye.